All right, welcome to Headlinesman. Let's get right to where we're going this upcoming week. I've got Friday night. I plan on being in American Fork as they take on Pleasant Grove. I also may sneak in a game Thursday night somewhere in St. George. We'll see if I can make that happen or not. But that's my plans for this upcoming week. Now, let's get to game number 2 from this previous week. I was in Springville as Springville took on Wasatch. I've got some clips. Let's take a look. All right, my thoughts about this game. I want to start with Springville. I love how Springville plays on the offensive side of the ball. I love how they're willing to run the ball. They are willing to pound you into submission, but they're also not afraid to make big plays in the pass game. They spread you out a little bit, throw the ball downfield. They attack the middle. They really just put pressure on both your defensive front and your defensive secondary. I really love how they play, and that's why they're always kind of one of those top teams when we look at the 5A playoff race. Next, I want to talk about a kid from Springville that really impressed me the other night. Running back Makoa Webb, really tough-nosed kid, pounding runner, is willing to run through anybody and everybody to get in the end zone. Just really loved how he played. He's a tough physical kid, and I enjoyed watching him play. Last thing with Springville I want to talk about is their defense. Defensively, they do two things that I really love and I really enjoy watching on the football field. Is one, they pressure you up front. They've always had ways of getting pressure on your quarterback, whether that's using blitzes or just coming at you with their athletic defensive ends. They put pressure on you, and that's important. They also put pressure on you with their corners. They really like to get physical off the line of scrimmage. This has been a trait out of Springville for several years now. I just really love how they're willing to put pressure on the offense and really force them to be more physical. Okay, let's talk about Wasatch. With Wasatch, I want to talk about their quarterback, Brock Cloward. He had a pretty good game overall once he got going in the second half. The first half, though, he had a rough start. He had some incompletions that I felt like he should have thrown better balls, should have made some completions on. And I think that's just what he needs to work on, is being better and more consistent on delivering catchable balls. But overall, he had a pretty good game. He was the bright spot on their offense. One thing they didn't do very well, they didn't run the football at all, really. The only run game they had came out of their quarterback, and that's never a good thing, is you shouldn't rely solely on your quarterback to be able to run the football. That just ends up making you one-dimensional, and that's really why I feel like Springville came out victorious in this game, is because they were able to just pin their ears back and try to put as much pressure on Cloward as possible. Let's talk about Wasatch's defense for a second. Really up front, I think they played pretty well. Springville has always been able to run the ball really well. That wasn't shocking that happened the other night. I think Wasatch does need to get a little bit more physical up front, but that's not really where they had the most issues. Where they had the most issues defensively is in their secondary. I felt like Springville was able to get some big plays because of Wasatch's secondary not making tackles and really making some mistakes in coverage. Those two things really helped Springville win this game. And if Wasatch wants to be one of those teams that advances into the second and third round of the playoffs, that needs to improve, and it needs to get better in the last couple weeks of the season. Let's get to what to watch for this week. As I mentioned, I do have that game Friday night in American Fork, and so I'll have a recap video of that. And also, if I do get to a game on Thursday night, I'll have a recap video of that as well. Also, look for a rules video. I know I've been promising for a couple weeks now. I'm going to have it done and out this week. It's on offensive holding and why it is the worst rule in high school football. So look for that. Thanks for the watch. See ya.